everyone, it's Christine. Welcome to ParanormalTV if you're new, and welcome back if you're not. In the span of almost 10 years, I have investigated a lot of places, some of which proved to be disappointing and lackluster, while others proved to be shocking and amazing. So without further ado, this is my list of my top 10 places that I have investigated. Coming in at number 10 is where it all started for me. I'm not going to give the location's name up. It's in a populated area, and it's in an area where, unfortunately, sometimes vandalism does occur, and I don't want to give up the location's name. I am aware that some people could figure it out by the appearance of it, and that is something that I hope doesn't happen. So I'm not going to give this location up. I'm just going to call it the graveyard. It is the graveyard where I investigated for the first time for real. The first couple times I didn't catch anything. I said it before, I'll say it again, that I didn't really know what I was doing the first couple of times. You figure it out as you go along, and the first few times was a major learning experience for me. But when I started to get a little bit better at investigating and start to figure it out some, I started to have more experiences. I also felt like this was the first place that I was ever able to build a relationship with the spirits inside. This is also a place where you do not expect to get a lot of things, yet you catch things and you're kind of blown away by what you catch. There's one EVP that I will always remember from this graveyard. I will link which episode that was. This was a more of, not a beginner, because I had been investigating for a little bit. I was doing it more for the experience at this time. I didn't have a ton of equipment. It's not going to be the best video you ever see, but I had enough to do an investigation and catch some evidence for myself. And the EVP that I caught with the experience that I had was amazing and mind-blowing. Number 9 is Eastern State. I feel like this one's a little surprising because it's lower on the list, but it has a good reason. It is a very noisy area. It is extremely noisy, and when you are in Eastern State, the noises that are from outside are very prevalent. You hear them inside, and that was disappointing. However, I was still able to catch some amazing things. And I went here with Joey. This was my first time meeting Joey, who is such a sweetheart. And it was a great place because it was a bucket list place. It was a bucket list investigation place, and it was great. The only issues I had was how noisy everything was and the price of it. It's expensive. And there's a lot of rules which are understandable. However, they tell you can go into any cell that's open unless it's an artist cell. And that is the only cells that were open were the artistry cells, and I couldn't go in any cells. And that was a huge disappointment because I feel like I could justify the price if I could go into a cell, and I wasn't able to do that. So that's why it comes in at number 9. It probably would be higher if I could have experienced that, could have gone in a cell, but I can't make it any higher because that. I do have to say though, I caught some great things. My favorite thing was actually on a spirit box. I asked about Al Capone and said prick. So I thought that was pretty cool. And also I had a really cool experience in part 2. Number 8, Suicide Bridge, which is also the John Eisenhower Bridge. Bridge is a bridge that has a lot of legend to it that I don't believe. The legend that I heard was that people had killed themselves by hanging themselves on the bridge. There's not a lot of height to do it. I just felt like if you were going to attempt that, you probably wouldn't die, but you would be in a hell of a lot of pain. Somebody definitely would find you. People know about this bridge. People come to see this bridge. But I had one of the craziest experiences. This was with Michael from Glowing Ghost Paranormal. And we still talk about this experience to this day because it was kind of crazy. It involved a possible ghost car. I think at this point my camera had died and we were going to kind of wrap up the investigation anyway. And there is a trail that's abandoned, and we saw headlights and heard a car, and you can see clips from this on Michael's video, but there was no car. No car. And Michael left me. It's pretty funny. I would suggest go watch his video. I mean, I would suggest watch my video too. I don't even think I believed in ghost cars until I had that experience. So now I think it could happen. I don't know. Was it a ghost car? We will never know. Number 7 is Satansville, and I'm actually so shocked that this is on here because Satansville was another heavily false legend area. I do not believe the legend of Satansville. However, I believe something is there. I didn't have a ton of evidence. I had experiences. I have a friend who can vouch for these experiences because he was there with me. Part of the legend we did experience. You're going to have to check that video out. Check out that video. It's a long video. I think it's worth it. I really dive into the legend. I dive into a lot of backstory. I researched it. I found out a lot of information. And so I think it's worth going and checking out that video. But I had a really weird experience there, and it affected me. I don't know. I had been affected like I had never been affected before, and still to this day have never been affected like this, so I suggest go checking that out. Number 6 is the haunted morgue that I investigated with Full Dark Paranormal Explorers, and investigating a haunted morgue is pretty amazing, right? So the location was another heavily trafficked location. There were, I think, apartments nearby, and you could hear people. But the piece of evidence that I caught, I could not believe. So I set up a camera because we were informed that people claim the light goes off, and it's not on a timer. It just goes off. It's supposedly paranormal. There's supposedly nothing wrong with this light. So I set up a camera thinking the light is not going to turn off. It's just not going to turn off. And it did. And I ran out there thinking somebody knew we were investigating and they are messing with us. And there was nobody there. I also caught some really weird and intense breathing that I will never forget because, one, it's a morgue. And it was a doctor's office as well. So, one, it's a morgue and a doctor's office, and there is this labored breathing that is not coming from any of us, because I think we would realize that we were having a hard time breathing. And if it were me, I would have been having an asthma attack. If I was breathing like that, it would have been my asthma. I would have been aware of it. It was not me. It was not anybody in the room. I did not hear it. I also had another weird EVP. Like, there was just some really weird things that I caught that I was able to determine was not anybody else because they were like near my camera, near the mic. Number 5 is actually it may be my favorite place on this list. It is the Alms House Cemetery. Now, I've never caught anything extraordinary, but this is a place, again, that I had an amazing experience. And I have several videos on here. I've even done videos where I just went in to go in and pay my respects kind of situation. But I feel like I was able to establish kind of a relationship with the spirits again here. And I don't know, I just have a tie there. Like, I feel some type of emotional connection, which sounds so weird, but it's true, guys. I can't make it up. I feel some type of way about the Alms House Cemetery and the people that are buried there. Whenever I'm in Gettysburg, I go there. And I had quite the amazing experience in there. I highly recommend you check out my videos on the Alms House Cemetery, especially the one that probably just popped up in the cards. I don't know what it is. There's just something about the Alms House Cemetery. There's just something about it that keeps me going back. Number 4 is the Conjuring House. Now, this is amazing. I did not think the Conjuring House would make it in a top 10 investigation. I really didn't. I'm sorry, guys. I went in there as a major skeptic. In my experience, a lot of times, the places that are extremely hyped, even if you catch things and you have experiences there, they're not always the best places that I've investigated. They're just not. And this place was, I don't know, shocking. It was just shocking. I feel like I didn't catch anything that was super concrete or amazing. Even with like EVPs and stuff that I caught, I don't feel like anything was just mind-blowing. But the spirit box sessions, which I never thought I would sit here and say the spirit box sessions are what put this up at number 4. But not just the spirit box sessions, the way we felt and the experiences that we had. Ryan, who I trust very much, had an amazing experience that really freaked him out. And if he felt freaked out, I believe him. I just believe him. My husband was there, and he said he feels the same way. If Ryan said he saw it, he saw it. And if he felt that way, he felt that way. And that's just how it is. But the spirit box sessions were chilling, surprising, rude, very rude, direct. I just suggest you watch those videos, and I definitely suggest you watch Full Dark Paranormal Explorer's video because, like I said, Ryan had the best experience of the night. Number 3 is the Gettysburg Orphanage. Now, this is not a place that I investigated with Michael. I caught the best EVP I think I've ever caught. I don't think I've ever caught an EVP so clear in my life. It was such a good EVP that I didn't believe it at first when I heard it. I thought it was the guide, and it was shouting. And I just couldn't believe that the guide was shouting during the investigation. I was like, wow, how rude. And I can't believe I didn't hear this in real time. He's yelling. And then I realized the guide was definitely not yelling, because the next thing that came out of my mouth after the EVP happened was, I'm pretty sure the guide is asleep out there. He was right outside of the room that we were in. And in that moment, I was pretty sure he was sleeping. And I also have lost footage from the orphanage, which also proved to be pretty exciting because I caught EVPs on there. And I had a really cool experience off camera. Unfortunately, my camera, I think it died, or it's been a little while now, but I'm pretty sure it died. And I was trying to switch the memory cards. In that moment, I was having some crazy EMF spikes that were completely unexplained. And the Gettysburg Orphanage did not disappoint. Number 2 is one of my favorite investigations of all time, obviously, and that's why it's at number 2. That's the Speakeasy. I went with Full Dark Paranormal Explorers again, and I tried very hard to find information on it, and I couldn't. But it was allegedly a speakeasy. Let me just say, the experiences we were having were pretty cool. There was a store above the speakeasy that we also had access to that was empty. And we were hearing the loudest footsteps from above the store, to the point where we were like, somebody is in that store. So we went in that store. Nobody was there. Nobody was there. It was locked very well, and nobody was in there. And while we were in there, we did a spirit box session that was really, really cool. There was one voice, and his name was Freddie, he said. That voice was really compelling and amazing, and we heard it multiple times, and it was direct responses. And then we had an Estes method that was really, really cool. So I do think that the Speakeasy, based on the activity that was there that we caught, should be at number 2. I could not believe the footsteps. Like, they were so loud, so clear, so very much above us, yet nobody was there. Number 1 is the investigation we did at the Hateful house. This was also done with Full Dark Paranormal Explorers. I was not freaked out by this house whatsoever. But oh my gosh, was it active. It was an abandoned house, and we had access to it. We were allowed to investigate it. and we spent the night there. And I had an experience while I was sleeping. It was really late, early. Well, actually, it was really early. It was very early in the morning. It was probably between 3 to 4 a.m., which is ironic, right? I had heard somebody outside my door. And I thought that maybe it was Amy or Ryan. So I didn't say anything. Also, I was really exhausted. I was so tired and I had to get up early, and I just did not care enough in that moment if it was a ghost or not. I did not give a damn. Okay, I was too tired. So I ignored it. I went back to bed, and I brought it up to Amy in the morning, and I said, were you or Ryan out front of our door last night? And she said no. There was a moment where I was completely alone at the end of the investigation, and I was having experiences that I was too tired to fully investigate, not gonna lie. Like I said, it was really late. And I was waiting for Justin because he forgot our pump for the air mattress. So he went to go get that. And I was in a room by myself, and Amy and Ryan were asleep. I have voices that I caught. There were loud noises that I caught that I didn't hear because I was so tired. I was about to fall asleep sitting up. There were cold spots that were so noticeable, but I couldn't get my thermometer. I had no energy to move. I was just completely drained from hours and hours of investigating. We also had one experience where Ryan and Amy were in the basement. Me and Justin were on the second floor. We heard noises downstairs, and I thought Amy and Ryan had come up, and I even said to Justin, it's in the video, that must be them. There's no way that is not them. So I get up to go call down to them. And as I do, Ryan calls up to me and says, is that you? I was like, and it was like, you've got to be kidding me. That's not you? That is not you? What is that? There is no one else here. It was so loud, so distinct, and so very much on the first floor. It was amazing. There were times where you could hear things on the steps, yet nobody was on the steps. And Amy talked to the person who owned the home. They had told her that there was supposedly a man that haunted the steps. We also got some not very nice voices. Rude words came through the spirit box. Caught some EVPs. A very active and surprising investigation. That's why it's at #1. Well, isn't this embarrassing? I forgot to film an outro. Just pretend I'm here saying goodbye to you guys. I wanted to ask if you guys investigate, what is your favorite place that you have ever investigated? And let me know which of these investigations were your favorite. Obviously, mine was the Hateful house. It surprised me very much, and it was very interesting. I would love to go back. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.